hosts, Kim
and Ella.
Welcome to this week's episode of the Sustainability Spiral. Upwards or downwards this week? That sounded down.
Whoa. Yeah, I feel like giving Debbie Downer.
Oh, what a fun way to start the episode.
Straight on in. Guys, public service announcement.
Are you okay?
It's going to get dark.
Are you okay? What's been going on?
Not a lot, really. It's just been a busy few weeks. We've had a bit of a break, which has been nice. We're feeling refreshed.
I hope you missed us. We missed you.
We did. I've missed this.
I have missed this, to be fair.
But yeah, I've just been like out and about, doing weddings, going on holiday.
Oh, hard life.
It's really hard being me. It's really actually quite difficult.
That's fun.
It's my birthday.
HBD.
Another year.
30.
Whoa, I didn't age up that much.
Ouch. Ouch.
I'm still in my 20s, guys.
Yeah, how you feeling?
For
28, feeling great?
Do you know what? 28 has really like hit me like a ton of bricks.
In what way?
I feel like, please
Careful.
me,
Careful.
no one take this in any way. But I feel like mentally in my head, like when I was growing up, 28 always seemed like really old.
It was a lie.
And it always seemed like this point in my life where I'd like have my shit together. And I'm realizing obviously that it's not the case, but I'm like, oh my God, I'm like in my late 20s now.
It
like,
feels chic.
It's closing. A chapter is closing.
A new
28
chic.
is very chic age. I do agree.
Yeah, I agree.
But I'm also scared.
I feel like 28, you're a bit like, ooh, there's like a bit of this left. And
Yeah.
then I'm going to blink and then the 30s are there. I turned 30 last year and I had like a little wobble. But I'm loving being 30. This is a good time. The sun is shining. Thriving. This decade is looking good, you know, and would I want to be back in my 20s? I actually don't think so.
I feel like some parts of your 20s are like early 20s
yeah.
is like a dark time, like unhinged time in your life. So I'm glad to be out of that. And like, frontal lobe fully developed, check.
Just about.
I like to think fully, but okay. And we're just like ready to go.
Also, you're saying you haven't got your life together. Girl, you have your life together.
Thanks.
The only way is up.
Yeah, I do agree.
Yeah.
But here we are, late 20s.
Yeah.
What's it going to bring? Who knows? Podcast success, hopefully.
Monetize again. Brand deal.
Side hustle. Let's go. How are you doing? What have you done for a little break?
It's been a busy month, let me tell you.
Hit me.
New job.
Damn.
New house.
Damn.
Holiday.
Yeah.
Ran a marathon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
fresh off not just any marathon, the London Marathon.
TCS London Marathon.
TCS, have you got to say that before?
I think that's the official title.
What does TCS stand
for?
It's
like a consulting firm. I don't know.
Didn't it used to be the Tartar?
Yeah, might still be the same. Maybe the T of TCS is
Tartar Consulting Group or something.
Or Tartar Consulting Services makes sense.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure.
Anyway.
So yeah, ran the marathon. Ella came and supported me, which was so nice. I used this app called Raleigh, where you could get voice note, like your friends to do voice notes that would come through your headphones at each mile. And Ella recorded me one at mile 17, where she started singing the jingle to the podcast, which I was like, yes, live pod from the tracks. And then I saw her as her voice was in my ears, and then I like kind of burst into tears, but obviously you're just so dehydrated that you can't really cry, so you just end up like walking around like but yeah, did it, happy with how it went. I won't be doing that again.
Do you know what a beautiful day.
Yeah,
like
beautiful. Such a nice day.
It's so good.
Yeah, loved
the vibes immaculate.
Yeah, and like fun sustainability stuff on the way around. So there was a section of the route this year called Woodland Way. So I think that they'd done that in partnership with WWF, I want to say. And they had like UK native trees like along the roadside, and then they were playing like the sounds of nature. To be fair, at that point it was like coming up to half a marathon. I just thought I've got a long way. But I did really appreciate seeing it. And I was like, that's a really nice like activation. Yeah, it was cute. I liked it.
Not to bring the tone down on the London Marathon, because broadly agree, good day.
Yeah.
The transport, and people warned me that it would be terrible.
Yeah, TfL
I
doesn't
got
know what to
cocky.
do.
I got cocky because
Mm-hmm.
me and another friend of Kim's went to go and support at Mudshoot, for anyone who knows London,
Thank you,
near
Dal.
Canary Wharf, and it was a breeze to get there. It was so easy. Nothing was busy.
Oh, that's good.
Nothing was delayed. I didn't have to queue. Just got on everything. The way back from Mudshoot to Embankment, 2 hours it took me. 2 hours. I had to queue to get on the DLR. The DLR then broke down while I was on it. Then I had to get off at Canary Wharf. Nightmare. Then I had to queue for the Jubilee line for like 40 minutes. And then I got on the Jubilee line and then I finally made it to Embankment.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
It was, no, not your fault, but I was just like, this is crazy.
Wait, you should have just run it and you probably would have got there quicker.
I was like, I did at one point Google how long will it take me to walk from Canary Wharf to Embankment, and it was like 2 hours.
Yeah,
and I was
it's a long way.
Yeah, no.
You've got like 10 miles left. Yeah. Canary Wharf was like a scary place to be because you're past halfway, but there's still a long way to go. So you're like, I've got 10 more miles of this, and I think my toenails are coming off.
It's just Ramo.
It's so fun. I had like the delirium was great in the pub afterwards. I did enjoy it. And then I had a lovely takeaway afterwards, and now I'm just waiting for my toenails to repair themselves.
Look, you can hang up your bib number. You've done it.
Yeah, done it.
Tick,
Not
tick,
doing that
tick.
again. Not doing that again.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
Kim, other than running the London Marathon, tell us about your holiday.
Oh, I had such a good time. It was my uni friend's 30th birthday trip.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
So we talked about this since we were literally like little 18-year-old babies. 7 of us. And we went to Antigua.
Ooh.
I've never been to the Caribbean before, and I loved it.
Love the Caribbean.
It was so nice. Like, gorgeous, gorgeous weather, obviously. And just, do you know what? Like, the nature was going hard. So I've never really done any like snorkeling or anything of that kind. So we tried it for the first time, and I'm a bit of a scaredy cat when it comes to the sea. Like, I think since watching Blackfish, that documentary on Netflix.
Oh my gosh, recurring nightmares after watching that.
I know, I just always think something is going to grab my foot and pull me to the bottom of the ocean, even if I'm in like 2 foot of water. I'm like, something's going to grab my foot, something's going to grab my foot. So I am a bit of a scaredy cat when it comes to the sea. So we did this like really fun tour where this person came and picked us up in this like open Jeep and then drove us to this mangrove area.
Ooh.
So we started the tour because I was like, I want to see some nature. And then we kayaked through this like mangrove forest.
Oh, gorgeous.
And he was just like telling us like loads of fun facts about the mangroves. For example, there's ones that are closer to the land, and then they've got like glittery leaves, and the glitter is like the salt coming out of the leaf from like when they like drink up the water.
That's so
because that gets flooded by the ocean, whereas some of it's fresh water.
Natural tsunami defense. Mangroves. That's all I know about mangroves.
Yes, there was a bit of that. They were talking about that a bit, where like it would like stop the waves.
Yeah,
crashing.
it absorbs the energy of the waves.
Yeah. So we did that, and then we went on a boat out to a reef. And I have never been on a reef or been like reef adjacent. Like, I thought this was the coolest thing in the entire world. Like, I used to love Finding Nemo when I was a kid. I just thought I would never get the opportunity to see something like that. So then he's taken us out on this boat. He's given us snorkels, goggles, and flippers. And then he's just like, jump off. And then I was like, ooh, okay. I did check if there was any sharks in the area, but because it's like a nursery reef, I don't know if this is common knowledge or if I just didn't know this, but because it's like a reef sort of nursery area, like they don't come in. And they're also just like aren't really in Antigua, the sharkies.
Interesting.
Which I was like, thank God. Apart from nursing sharks, but if they
in the nurseries.
Yeah, that's true. That makes sense.
No, I just love that.
Yeah, the logic of that makes sense.
Oh.
But if they give you a nibble, I think it's okay. It's not like a great white,
They
like
give you a nibble.
your like legs off.
Scary.
Thank God.
I do agree. I think it's healthy to have like healthy skepticism of the ocean because
Yeah.
it's a big, scary vastness, and like love everything in it. You do your thing.
Yeah.
But honestly, I had a recurring nightmare about orcas after watching Blackfish.
Yeah,
like
it's
for
scary.
years.
Yeah, I'm there with you.
It's
Like,
just like
if I could go back in time and not watch that, I would definitely do that. Although it is important to watch.
Yeah, and it obviously really sad.
Just not that scene where he like pulls to the bottom of the pool.
Really, really scary.
Yeah. So then we were just like snorkeling around over this like amazing reef. Like I've never seen anything like it. Just so much, just like a cool landscape underwater. You know when people are like, it's like a whole new world. Like it actually is like a whole new world. I know. For anyone who's like ever seen anything underwater, they're like, Kim, obviously this is so like stupid that you're saying this, but to me it was amazing. It was so cool. So when we were snorkeling, obviously we were seeing all these amazing colourful fish, and that was like, it just felt like a live action version of Finding Nemo, which I know is crazy to say. But I feel like I watched Finding Nemo so much when I was growing up, and I just saw like Dory, and we were seeing like the anemones.
Is that the next like Disney live action remake?
Yeah,
You're just gonna go down, just make it. Yeah. You're gonna take a camera and remake Finding Nemo. You should do it.
It's my director debut. But our guide was saying that what was crazy is that Finding Nemo, like in 2003 or whenever it came out, was like the best thing that ever happened for ocean conservation. Like that was the thing that like progressed policy change the most.
Wow.
Because everyone obviously had like the emotional connection with like Nemo and Dory and Marlin. And then there was like loads of like policy change that came off the back of Finding Nemo.
I guess we were probably too young to know that, but that's crazy.
Yeah, and then it's all like really slowed down since.
But like it's like the power of storytelling, isn't it?
I know.
And, like the Oceans documentary that David Attenborough did with the bottom trawling, like Nemo, like
yeah,
if you can like hook people on something like that and make them feel something,
yeah,
you can do a lot.
Yeah, or not hook them because we don't want to be fishing.
Pun not intended.
Which I just thought was amazing. Like, yeah, Disney going hard. But yeah, as I was saying, there was like a lot of, when I was down there, it was obviously amazing, but that I guess we saw a lot of like bleached coral, and that started me like down a little spiral.
Here we go.
And made me think of that report that came out a couple of years ago. I don't know if you remember when this came out, but I feel like for a week everyone was like, oh my God, coral bleaching is so bad. And then everyone forgot about it again.
What was the report?
So I think it was the IPCC.
Love them.
They're doing great things. Friend of the pod, IPCC. So the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change published this report, I think in like 2021, 2022, on bleaching. And they basically said coral reefs face a very high risk of near-term collapse and up to 99% loss of coral reefs globally at 2 degrees of warming.
Oof.
So I think that it did quite a lot at the time to like spur the movement towards 1.5 because they were like, do you remember there was a chart, and we can put it we can link it when we do a LinkedIn post or whatever, but it was like, these are the habitat losses at 1.5 and these are habitat losses at 2 degrees.
Yeah.
And coral reefs was like X%, and then in 2 degrees it was like 100%.
Yeah,
like complete whiteout.
Yeah,
which is crazy.
Not good.
So it made me start thinking about that, and I was like, yeah, I feel like there was a bit of momentum at that time, but then it kind of just started to like subside a bit.
Yeah, I feel like it's not something you really hear about as much these days.
Yeah. So then obviously as part of my spiral, I then looked into like the state of play of where we're at. So currently we are in the 4th global bleaching event.
In history?
Yeah, I think so. So that's from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, US. Interesting.
NOAA, for sure.
NOAA. Do you know them as NOAA?
Yeah, I do. Well, I know them personally. I know Noah personally, actually. Yeah, we're good friends.
Oh, I love that.
No, we'd like used like NOAA data when I was doing my masters for like modelling and stuff, I think.
Wow, that's fun.
Yeah, big good times.
Big good times.
Big good times.
Well, they're saying that we're in big bad times.
Yeah.
For the 4th time.
They don't think it's big good times.
They think it's big bad times, and that we've been here 4 times.
I think
Again.
I've seen this film before. And I didn't like the ending.
Again, laugh or we've got to laugh or cry.
Exactly. We just like humour to get through this.
So NOAA have been saying that we are seeing bleaching confirmed in at least 60 countries, or like the waterways of 60 countries. 84% of the world's reefs are exposed to bleaching level heat at the moment, which is the largest ever. That's not like 84%. That's crazy.
That is that is such a high number. That's crazy. The thing I often wonder though is, and obviously not that this is like a mitigating situation, but obviously if the current reefs are getting bleached because they're too hot, does it mean that there are going to be like other areas of the ocean that become like climatic niches for corals? So we'll see corals growing in different parts of the ocean.
What, like the Arctic Circle?
In extreme cases when we're all dead, it'll just be like coral all over the Arctic. But like, I don't know. Is it like, because I don't know enough about coral, I suppose, and like what its like niches are, because it's obviously like temperature, but also like depth of the water as well. I imagine it has to be like fairly shallow seas, that kind of thing. So I wonder if there are like places where the temperature wasn't quite right previously that will become like.
What about Dogger Bank? The Great Dogger Bank Barrier Reef. It's such an opportunity for the UK. You know how they're like,
Ed, get on it! Get on it!
The two positives about climate change for the UK: vineyards.
Facts.
Great Dogger Bank.
Kim's house in Newcastle on the beach.
Yeah, my house in Newcastle on the beach.
And then the third one.
And then the third one would be Great Dogger Bank Barrier Reef, which we could operate tour companies to.
Sustainably and responsibly.
Geordie dives. Geordie snorkeling. Okay.
Wow.
That's an upward spiral.
Here. We're about to get absolutely bashed by like actual oceanographers who actually know what they're talking about. And we're like, put a reef there. Put a reef. You get a reef. You get a reef. Everybody gets a reef.
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. So it's not looking good. I don't know about what hotspots like the rising of the temperature for other areas would do, but
I don't know.
Let's look into that. Something to think about.
We can come back.
It is particularly bad this year because of being in El Nino.
I love an El Nino.
Nino. Can you explain this a bit better? Because I kind of get it, but I think you know it. You're a geography person.
Oh, this is like delving into like the depths of my brain, and I can't do that. I can't do El Nino off the cuff.
Okay,
but it's
fine.
to do with like ocean air currents.
What is it? El Nino
and La Nina. So it's like in Spanish, it's the boy and the girl. I don't know why they're called that, but
okay,
that's what it stands for.
Nice. But at the moment, we're in the hotter one, which is El Nino.
Nino, yeah.
Yeah. So that's why ocean bleaching is particularly bad at the moment, because the ocean is just generally hotter. And also because of like extreme warming events are more frequent. There's also not as much recovery time because the coral can recover, but because they're just being like hammered with like heat, the bleaching is more persistent. So yeah, those were some of my spirals. But then, as we like to do on the pod, is have a little upward spiral.
Whoop, whoop.
So I then started to look into some of the solutions, and this is what we saw when we were out there. So while we were snorkeling, we saw a lot of like wire frames in the sea. And so I went away and looked at it, and it's essentially called a biohack frame.
That's such a good name.
Yeah, isn't it? And I guess it's like, it kind of looks like a climbing frame.
Okay. How big are they?
Like 2 to 3 meters.
Okay, so quite
in
big.
height, I would say.
Yeah.
But in quite shallow-ish water.
Yeah.
Like obviously on the reef. But these biohack frames that kind of look like climbing frames have got lots of like nursery coral on them.
So cool.
So they're installed in places where the coral's a bit more depleted, and with the hope that that will help to like regenerate the ecosystem and like support new life within the ecosystem. So that's really cool. And there's a really interesting company or organization, that does a lot of biohack frame installation called Coral Vita.
Ooh.
So they actually, the first time I heard of them was maybe a couple of years ago. So they won the Earthshot Prize.
Nice.
And the Earthshot Prize is a prize that Prince William set up with David Attenborough, I want to say, to essentially kind of like the moonshot, but be like Earthshot, like what are the big solutions that we need for like to save the planet, basically.
Love.
And there's a couple of different categories. I think there's like nature restoration, ocean health, like air pollution, that sort of stuff. And Coral Vita won the Earthshot Prize a couple of years ago, and you get like £1 million worth of funding from Prince William, and also just like loads of exposure.
Yeah.
And like
might get to meet Kylie. She was there in COP30 with the Earthshot Prize.
Minogue.
Yeah.
What?
I know. I thought random, but love it.
What?
I don't know. I was as perplexed as you are.
That's fun.
At the gala or whatever, where they like announced the winners, it was like Prince William on the red carpet and Kylie Minogue.
Love that.
I love that too. Love Kylie. Shout out Kylie.
Do you know what? Her business of Kylie Minogue wine is probably very vulnerable to climate change, so she wants to be part of the solution. But Coral Vita do this really interesting thing where they grow coral in land-based farms, and then they transplant that onto degraded reefs. So they almost grow it separately. I've seen videos of them doing it on LinkedIn, and it's kind of like in a very shallow bath, like a warm, shallow bath. They will like start to grow little bits of coral
on land.
Yeah. And then transport it onto the biohack frame.
Oh, wow.
And then plant it in. But the reason that theirs is slightly different and also more resilient to bleaching is because they do this thing called microfragmentation.
Ooh.
I know, I feel like you would love this.
What is microfragmentation, Kim?
Well, it kind of does what it says on the tin. It's literally cutting up the coral.
Okay, fair, yeah.
So they cut it up into like little 1 centimeter pieces.
Yeah.
And the growth rate of coral at a smaller size is much higher than like a big coral. So it actually ends up growing 25 to 50 times faster at that size.
What?
Yeah, it just like grows faster than like a whole colony of coral if they do it like independently that way. And then also what they've been doing is selecting like heat tolerant coral types. So I guess the corals that would like naturally spring on a reef. I don't know if spring's the right word for like.
I love it, spring.
Yeah.
Let's go there.
For how the corals would naturally spring. Because they've been choosing like heat tolerant corals, they're much more likely to survive bleaching once they go in. Nice. So they like do it in this little bath. I mean, this is obviously a massive oversimplification, but it's like a bath sort of area, nursery, and then they put it on the biohack metal frame, and then they'll put that into areas of like reef degradation, and then that'll just like help them grow.
Wow, that's so cool.
So I really thought that Coral Vita was worth shouting out.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Shout out Coral Vita.
And then I was also just looking at like why coral reefs are so important for the health of the ocean. And obviously they're very, very biodiverse, but I've got some fun stats and facts for you. So coral reefs support 25% of all marine species.
Wow.
Despite only covering 1% of the total ocean.
Wow. That's crazy. I mean, that just like, I think cements how important they are, right? If they're such a small proportion of the ocean, but support so much of the life.
And going back to that scary IPCC report, if like 100% of that habitat goes and they support a quarter of the ocean species, that is obviously just such a significant hit for ocean biodiversity.
That's such a good point. Is there an estimate on the financial, like what's the value that like financially that coral reefs drive?
Yeah, so there is. There are some estimates that say that coral reefs generate $2.7 trillion a year. But I think that's quite like tourism focused.
Yeah, okay.
So it's like tourism, fisheries, but also coastal protection. So it'd be quite interesting to see like how that's split out, because obviously before you were saying about mangroves being such a like an important part of coastal protection in tsunamis.
Yeah.
But coral reefs kind of do the same as well.
Interesting.
So if there's like really intense storms in the sea, they'll like help protect the land. But but also just like an area for food security for lots of people. So it's estimated that 500 million people globally are reliant on coral reefs for food.
Wow.
So
that's a lot of people.
Yeah, it feels like we need to protect these guys. Yeah. But I mean, we still got to see some amazing sea life. Like we saw, I think like 3 or 4 turtles.
That's amazing.
Yeah, they were just at the bottom of the seabed, like chomping on some seagrass.
Oh, what a life.
And then we would like be above them, like obviously giving them a lot of space. And apparently turtles can hold their breath for 8 hours. So if they come up to the surface, the guide we were with was just like, girls are just showing off. Like they just want you to be like, so cute. Which we all were like so in our snorkels, like, oh my God. So the guide who took us out was telling us about how like the color change comes from the algae. So then I looked into this a bit when we came home, but corals expel algae called zooxanthellae.
Science.
Zooxanthellae.
Yeah,
I think.
Love it.
So that like is the majority of the food for the coral. And when the algae dies due to bleaching, that's why they go white, because the like coloured algae isn't there anymore, and that's like their food.
Wow.
Like, did you know that? I actually just
didn't.
know that.
That's crazy. Real life climate mitigation or nature restoration. I don't know what you call it. All of the above, I suppose.
I know. So when we saw it, I literally was like, oh, I've read about that so much. So it's so cool to see.
Very meta.
Very meta. And then we also, very randomly, bumped into the ambassador for climate change for Antigua.
Honestly, look at Kim grafting for the podcast while she's on holiday. I'm obsessed. Obsessed. Networking 24/7. What? 365.
I just couldn't believe that, like, by chance, I bumped into the ambassador for climate change for the country.
Did you have a good gab?
We had a good gab. We were at this, like, talk about the history of the island, which was really interesting.
Crazy. So, what a quinky ding.
I know. I just, like, bolted over to her and I was like, do you work in sustainability? I work in sustainability.
Sustainability hands.
Yeah. And it was so cool because I was just asking her about like the country's energy system. I mean, it's obviously such niche chat for a holiday like event.
That is some niche holiday chat.
But I just thought like she's gonna love this. Yeah. So we were chatting about the energy system, because she was saying that they're obviously very vulnerable to shocks in the wholesale energy market. So they actually were having a snap election at the time because the country was like facing a significant amount of like economic hardship because of everything going on in the Middle East, which I thought was interesting. And then she was also telling me about the coral like restoration projects that they're doing, and she was just saying that a lot of them aren't successful because the water is still just so hot. So even if they're putting like new coral into it, it just bleaches straight away.
Wow.
And she said that the diver who installed the actual wireframe was like sweating in his mask, and he was saying that he's never like sweated underwater before, and it was like coming off in his eye.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
Wow. It's like a sticky plaster on like a much bigger problem.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really sad.
I know, it is really sad.
But like, what a cool person to just like happen across and have a conversation about all of these amazing things that are happening in Antigua.
Friend of the pod, hopefully.
Friend of the pod, hope you're listening.
Maybe one day on the pod.
Ooh, manifest.
One day. But yeah, it was amazing. It was like obviously quite sad to see some of the like impacts of rising ocean temperatures. But the upward spiral, I guess, with all of that is that there are a lot of organizations out there trying to rectify that problem. Which is good.
Love. Yeah. And I feel like what you were saying about the energy shocks and the price shocks kind of leads into my big bloody spiral of like many years actually.
Consistent
spiral. And we've talked about it before, but obviously everything that's happening, the world seems like a very scary place at the moment with everything that's happening in the Middle East. And, you know, governments read between the lines that are like governed by man children and doing these crazy things.
What?
And, you know, we could have a whole podcast about all of that. But what I have it like we've both obviously worked in the energy sector, And we saw the energy crisis a few years ago with Russia, Ukraine, and we're seeing it again with what's happening in the Middle East, with the Strait of Hormuz, and what's happening with Iran. And what is making me spiral, other than the fact that I feel like we're on the brink of World War III, pin that, is the bloody chat about the North Sea.
You hate North Sea chat.
It hate
winds you
North
up.
Sea chat. And I feel like there is some good myth busting that's been done, and I really want to chat about it because it's an upward spiral.
Okay,
well,
so
it's like a downward spiral, but the chat is upward.
I guess there's like a third spiral, and it's being wound up about things.
Which I am a lot, particularly about this.
And it feels like this is a wound up spiral.
This is a wound up spiral.
So what winds you up about the North Sea?
So, look, as we said, unless you've been like living under a rock, you'll know that the US and Israel launched an attack on Iran, and there's been a load of retaliation. And for a long time, the Strait of Hormuz was blocked by Iran, and something crazy like a fifth of the world's oil and gas goes through there. So like big numbers.
Yeah, that is crazy.
And there were all these like jumps around in prices of oil. Like I think it went over $100 a barrel for the first time in a couple of years. And everyone was like, oh my gosh. And what has been like quite interesting and that I haven't had before is obviously we can see the price shocks and how it's impacting like the price of gas in the UK. But in my job at the moment, I now work with like an international team, so I'm getting all these kind of impacts from different countries, and you see on social media as well. But a lot of my team work in India, and there was a massive liquid natural gas shortage in India because of what was happening, to the point where like restaurants were closing because they couldn't cook any food.
Oh yeah, weren't you saying there was like a mandated shutdown?
In Sri Lanka, they declared every Wednesday a national holiday so that businesses shut down, so they were using less energy. And in Australia, I was seeing as well that they made all public transport free for a month so people would stop using their cars.
What?
Yeah. So like all these crazy things were happening, and it just highlights our dependency on a fossil fuel energy system that is controlled by a handful of countries, limited regions, on a dwindling source of energy that is finite.
We say it all the time.
The end.
Fossil fuels are finite, guys.
Podcast done.
I heard a really fun quote that you'll like the other day that was like, I'm probably going to really butcher this, but it was like 100% of the sun's solar power doesn't go through the Strait of Hormuz. Do you know what I mean? Wait, no, I probably said that right. But like solar power is always coming down, and we don't need to like be constrained by logistics that can be vulnerable to geopolitical tensions.
This is the energy revolution.
Yeah, I feel like I did really butcher that quote.
No, I loved it. 100% of the sun's energy doesn't go through the Strait of Hormuz.
Yeah, get that on a t-shirt.
Amen. Let's make some merch.
But yeah, like why are we, it feels very old school to still be reliant, like be so vulnerable to like shipping lanes. I know that is how the world works, but a resource is literally being wasted all the time as it hits the earth.
And like I get things aren't going to change overnight, you know? Like building infrastructure takes time, changing policy takes time. Like I get all of that, I understand that. But what, 4 years ago?
Yeah,
we were having these same conversations, and there was like push and motivation behind renewable, but I just don't, there still seems to be uncertainty and myths around efficacy.
Yeah.
And conversations being diluted with chat like, well, why don't we drill the North Sea because it's better for the planet or lower carbon.
Better for the planet
to drill. This is mainly what annoys me.
Yeah, what a wind up, mate.
I'm like, I think I've said this before. But it annoys me. So I think like I am summarizing heavily here, but the arguments normally are that there's oil and gas in the North Sea that hasn't been exploited.
Yeah.
The UK was once like one of the biggest crude oil producers in the world, like in like the 80s before you and I were born. And like we should get back to that and have energy independence. And the thing that annoys me most is when people talk about it being lower carbon to use North Sea oil than imported oil. what I would like to talk to you about today
Okay.
is a fantastic article from the Carbon Brief, one of my favourite sustainability publications.
Shout out Carbon Brief.
Where they have myth busted some North Sea oil and gas claims.
Ooh.
And
okay.
there, I think, are 9
Okay.
in the article, and I can link the article on our LinkedIn for anyone who follows us there. So we won't necessarily go through all of them, but I want to pick out some of my favourite ones.
Ooh.
And we can chat about them.
I'm excited. Yeah, I feel like the maths of that statement already is not adding up in my brain.
Well, should we chat about it?
Yeah, let's do it.
Myth bust number 1.
Here we go.
Quote, energy from the North Sea generates a lot less CO2. And the Carbon Brief has labelled this as a misleading statement.
Oh, shit.
I'm doing a very unimpressed face for those of you, all of you who can't see me.
Got it.
And people like Claire Coutinho are saying things like, we need to extract North Sea oil and gas because doing so, unquote, doing so in the name of climate change when our own gas has 4 times fewer emissions than the LNG we need to import instead. Unforgivable. Direct quote, Claire Coutinho.
Our own gas is less carbon intensive than LNG. What does she mean?
Has 4 times fewer emissions.
4 times fewer emissions. 4 times fewer. Oh my God, she's doing Trump maths. Have you heard about his Trump maths?
It's wrong maths.
4 times fewer, like that. Like, I have a maths degree, babe. That doesn't make sense. You can't have 4 times lower emissions. You can have a quarter of the emissions. You can't have 4 times lower emissions. Like, not to be nitpicky about it, but like that actually just doesn't make sense. And Trump is also doing this kind of maths. Like, he keeps saying the oil price is 600% lower. That means that you would be paying people 500% of the original cost. Like, that's what 600% lower means. Do you know? It's silly. From a maths perspective, it doesn't make sense.
Silly.
Yeah, that's
silly. And like there's like misleading ways of saying things, and there's just like misleading facts that while like you could like factually back them up, the way you present it doesn't make any sense. So essentially what they're saying is that like when you extract oil and gas from a different country, it's like very energy intensive to liquefy and transport and regasify it. Okay. And oftentimes that is done in economies where maybe they use like worse, i.e. dirty grid. Exactly.
Fine. Okay.
So if we're doing that here on a different grid, then the emissions are lower. So what Claire Coutinho is saying is that process, that liquefaction, the transport and the regasifying is a quarter of the emissions if we did it in the UK versus what we do abroad.
But would we not have to do those stages as well?
No, so that's what I mean. So that's what she's saying is 4 times lower.
Okay.
What's not taken into account is the burning of the damn thing in that statement.
It's not a full life cycle. They need to do a full life cycle. Okay, so she's basically saying we should just do all of those processes here and use it here. But also, babes, like, that's not how the global energy market works. Like, people bid for energy on a global scale and then it gets shipped in from wherever that ship is. Like, that isn't how it works.
Yeah.
Okay.
And according to
what's her official title? Sorry?
Claire Coutinho is the Shadow Secretary of State for Energy Security and Net Zero.
Girl, go on YouTube, Google how does the wholesale energy market work and how does it physically work in terms of ship movements across, like, does she understand what's happening with the Strait of Hormuz? Like, that's why, it's because it is dependent on ships going everywhere. That's sad.
Crazy.
Okay.
And what Carbon Brief has said is that if you take into account the CO2 from the combustion of the gas that you're actually using, there is still a reduction in the emissions. So if we imported gas from, I don't know, somewhere in the Middle East, they did the whole process of liquefaction, transportation and regasifying when it came back. Then, and we compared that to if we extracted it from the North Sea and did that process in the UK, so like less transportation, etc., etc. There is a reduction, but it's 15%.
Yeah, as she would say, what would she say about that? Her maths would be like, it's grown 15%.
It's just not.
Yeah. Which
true.
isn't insignificant, but
No.
also those aren't the two options. It's not like import LNG or homegrown LNG. It's those two options or limitless renewable energy.
Facts.
Yeah. I think she's missed out a material part of that equation.
100%. So that argument, I think, particularly annoys me.
Yeah.
The most. That's my number one. That's my number one bugbear.
Oh, you started at the top.
Started at the top.
Nice.
Started from the top. Now we're here.
We are spiraling up. So
we are.
We've got the worst out of the way.
We're just like these. I don't want to call them lies, but I want to call them lies. Mistruths.
She hasn't done her research. Like
pulling the wool.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it was like necessarily a lie. No, it is a lie. Like,
I don't think it's a lie so much as you're like stating a like fact in a certain way. So you're excluding
in an incorrect way.
well,
in an untrue way.
You're talking about like a process.
Yeah.
And you're excluding the largest CO2 emitting activity, which is using the damn thing.
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm going to take this bit out because no matter what you do, it's the same.
Yeah.
Whether the gas is from the Middle East, Russia, or the UK in the North Sea,
the worst bit is the burning of.
It burns the same everywhere.
Is that the worst bit then?
Yeah,
like
that's
the use
the
phase?
largest contributor, according to Carbon Brief. Challenge me if you will. That is the largest contributor to overall CO2 emissions.
Right.
Like
fine.
the wider processes around like extraction, etc., contribute and are significant, but aren't the biggest CO2 driver.
You tell them, girl.
So by excluding that, you're portraying a very misleading statistic.
Yeah.
And you're just ignoring the biggest part.
Yeah.
And it just like redirects the argument away from this is not a sustainable form of energy, both economically and the planet.
Yeah.
And how about I think there's this thing called renewable energy. Don't know if anyone's heard of it, but apparently we can build it and use it for things crazy.
And it doesn't have to go through the Strait of Hormuz.
100% of the sun doesn't go through the Strait of Hormuz.
So that wouldn't have got through Ella's green claims checks. Well, you tell her, girl.
Honestly.
In one ear,
annoys
out the other.
me.
Yeah, that is very annoying.
And then the other one that I think is a biggie.
Yep.
Is the fact that if we reopen the North Sea, we will lower bills.
The proclaimed fact.
The proclaimed fact.
Yeah.
And what do you think Carbon Brief said about this?
If we reopen the North Sea, we'll lower our bills.
Do you think they said it's misleading, true, false?
False. Not even misleading.
No, false.
Just straight up false.
And friend of the pod, Donald Trump, in March said to the PM, open up the North Sea immediately. Your energy prices are through the roof. And I think if there's one person we should be taking advice from, it's definitely not him.
Yeah. His prices are 600% up or whatever he said.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
He doesn't know what he's on about. And to your point, because the UK is a price taker in the energy, we're not a price maker. So reopening the North Sea isn't going to drastically change this global process and this like global way of buying and selling energy.
Yeah.
Like I love that we love to think we are like
the
crazy
exception.
Powerful.
Yeah.
Which is not there anymore, you know?
Yeah.
The glory days are gone.
I think just as like a TLDR of the energy system, like we aren't energy traders by any means, but
nope.
It's a global energy market. So the price of electricity and gas is set globally, and then that's how it's traded. And you can get like cheaper arrangements by having direct relationships with generators. For example, power purchase agreements or PPAs, you might have heard of them be referred to as, where you would like establish a relationship directly with like a wind farm or something, and then you would like agree a price for the electricity that's generated there, and then you would get that electricity at that price. But the majority of like energy trading is done on the wholesale energy market, which is a global market, which is very vulnerable to these kind of geopolitical shocks. And that's kind of where we're seeing the majority of the impact come from. And in the UK, again, the majority of our energy is traded on a wholesale global market. So reopening the North Sea would mean that all of that energy would go onto the wholesale energy market. So we would like maybe make a bit of profit from that, or those businesses would, but it wouldn't necessarily come off consumers' bills because it wouldn't be ring fenced for like the UK consumers. It would go onto a global market and then the highest bidder would get that.
And what they're talking about, the supply they're talking about opening up is like compared to the global market relatively small.
Yeah.
And there was a bit of research by the University of Oxford that said if the UK like maximised North Sea oil and gas and used all of the revenues from that sector, bearing in mind capitalism, that's not going to happen, to subsidise lower energy bills. So literally getting everything out of there, all the money you're making going back into energy bills. Under this definitely possible scenario, wink wink, household bills probably would fall between £16 and £82 a year. So 1% to 4.6% a year.
That's wild.
Like, that's what we're talking about. And like, I don't want to belittle, like, energy is very expensive. Energy poverty is a very real problem in this country. And any saving is valuable, but there are other ways that we can do this.
Yeah, it's not a silver bullet.
Renewable energy.
Yeah.
It's not a silver bullet. And people talk about it like it's this magic savior.
Yeah.
And I just get so riled, as you can evidently tell from this episode.
No. I mean, fair enough. That is very annoying.
So I think we're kind of like culminating onto this one. So, like I said, I'll pop the link to this, what I think is a fantastic article by Climate Brief. They do a great newsletter. Recommend anyone signing up on our LinkedIn page. But I think what kind of we're talking about is the fact that they're talking about North Sea oil and gas as this way to protect us from price volatility and energy security, as if there's no other way to kind of have energy security. So we'll culminate on this final fact, and there's a couple of others if you want to read more, but that is the North Sea is the best way to protect us from volatility and provide energy security. True, false, misleading? What do you think?
Oh, misleading?
False. According to Carbon Brief. False.
Love that. Tell me why.
I think like being like when it's positioned as the only way or the best way, like the kind of singular solution. And like, while I'm obviously a big sustainability climate girl, like I'm also a realist in the fact that like oil and gas is going to be with us to some extent for decades to come in certain industries where it's hard to decarbonize. Like, I'm not saying that next year we're going to completely switch off using all of this stuff globally. Like, we have to be realistic. Like, it does have a place for certain things to a certain extent. As you said, there is like a transition that happens, and that needs to happen in a way that's like fair and like doesn't disrupt the economy. I'm gonna lay that down as a baseline. But when people like my other bestie, other friend of the pod, Nige Faza, talk about kind of the
Nigel
UK...
Farage. If no one got that.
Who is he head of?
Leader of the Reform Party. Yeah. MP for whatever that constituency is that he's never been to.
Don't want to know. Yeah. Don't care. But Reform's line is that opening up the North Sea will make the UK this energy independent country. And as we've already said, it's not a big enough source. It would take a long time to get the North Sea on the market, even where there's already kind of like infrastructure. It will take. It's not like a switch.
Yeah.
There's not like a magic North Sea oil and gas switch that like Keir Starmer pushes and then it just like pumps up. Like where there is legacy infrastructure, it still takes like months to get that back online. Where there are kind of resources that we haven't drilled, like that is like multiple years to get there.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was going to ask about the Claire Coutinho quote where she's like, oh, we just need to get more out. It's like better for us to get out of the North Sea. Did she mean out of existing infrastructure, or is the reason that we're not getting more out because we would have to build new infrastructure to do the drilling?
So I think generally people are talking about doing both. Fine. So there's been a lot of chat about the Labour government not issuing any new licenses in the North Sea, and they've taken quite a hard line on that. there has been some chat about whether they will look at existing licenses. People are often talking about a combination of both. So
Fine.
there are existing licenses and there's existing infrastructure that you could exploit.
Yeah.
But there's also like untapped potential.
Yeah. Okay.
That you would require licensing infrastructure to get to that doesn't currently exist. And that definitely doesn't happen overnight.
Years in the making
though. Exactly.
Yeah.
But you know what's a great option?
Ooh.
Renewables.
Yay.
Yeah.
You love.
Sorry.
That's it. Like, let's open the North Sea renewables tap. Windy.
Offshore wind farm.
Offshore wind farm. You get an offshore wind farm.
Everyone gets an offshore wind farm.
Yeah.
No, I think my overall upward spiral is that, like, generally, I think there is a lot of rhetoric around the North Sea, broadly, not exclusively, but broadly from the right.
Yeah.
But I do think there is quite a good balance of fact correcting that I've heard. Granted, like, I probably listen to a subset of the news and media that aligns with my views.
Yeah.
Big up BBC
Echo
Radio
chamber.
100%. But I do think that there has been like a balanced argument around when people are bringing forward these claims, like a valid challenge of like the North Sea is, you know, it's a very mature basin. Like, there's a lot of cost to doing this stuff. Does it actually have these benefits that you promise it will do? Is it just a really easy political line that lands well with people?
Yeah.
So I think, like, yes, my upward spiral is I think that we are just in a better space of like.
Yeah. It's cheaper, it's like easier to get things done now in the renewable space than literally starting a new drilling platform like from scratch. Like, it's just not the logical argument.
And every year
anymore.
we're hitting like fun renewable targets, like loads of wind, loads of solar. It's all happening.
You get a green electron, and you get a green electron. Everyone gets a green electron.
Wind turbine over there, solar panel over there. We love to see it.
We love to see it.
And I love when I see those big old wind turbines out at sea, on the land.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
I'm an IMBY.
Yeah.
In my backyard.
Get it in. A YIMBY. Yes, in my backyard.
YIMBY.
Yeah. Have we just made that up?
YIMBY. I like YIMBY.
We're starting. That's our next, that can be what our merch brand is called.
YIMBY. I love that.
So
okay.
I think, yeah, definitely, like, I feel like a good balanced debate happening. But if I hear one more person, I'm looking at Greg Jackson, say that we should drill the North Sea.
Rogue from him.
I know.
Yeah.
Greg Jackson's the CEO of Octopus. No shade to Octopus, great company, doing great things. But if I hear one more person in that position saying these things, I'm going to flip.
Yeah.
I'm going to flip.
And also, guys, why do you think China has built out such high renewable capacity? They've thought it through.
Yeah. And
okay.
Anyway.
So do you feel good?
I feel good. I also feel good for two reasons. One, because we've kind of picked it back up. And two, because I feel like I've just vented.
Yeah.
And that's felt very good.
Cathartic.
Yeah, it really is quite cathartic. And that's why I love chatting to you, hanging out with you, and doing this podcast with you.
Always, baby girl. I feel good too. I feel like the myth-busting exercise that we just did has cleansed things in my soul, which makes me feel good.
I love a carbon brief fact check. They do such a good job.
Yeah, they in like very digestible language. So shout out to them.
Shout out.
Love them. Okay, cool. Well, we will be back next week. Thank you so much if you made it to the end of the pod. I hope you enjoyed chatting with us about all things ocean.
And let us know if there are any topics you're spiraling about, because we want to hear what your spirals are and we can talk about them. And thanks always for listening. Like, subscribe, give us a 5-star review. All of insert things podcasters are meant to say. Thanks always for listening. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, guys. See you next week.
Bye.